What's up guys, my name is Ace, and amongst all the hype for Call of Duty Modern Warfare this year, with that reveal that we got a couple days ago, there's a lot of positivity out there, which is awesome to see. I'm personally really excited, but in today's video, I also wanted to share my current concerns with this year's Call of Duty game. Now, some of these concerns will be based on the information that we know about so far that maybe isn't fully clear to us, and we don't know which direction they're actually taking it. And some of it is basically just going to be from previous years and our experience with the Call of Duty franchise recently. Because as we all know, the way that Call of Duty cycle goes is you get the announcement, everybody's super hyped up, and I think in a lot of cases, people start to just naturally paint that picture in their mind of the perfect Call of Duty game for them and how this could be the year where everything about the game shapes up to be the absolute perfect Call of Duty for them. And as we all know, this simply isn't going to be the case. It never is with Call of Duty, or any game for that matter. If you start painting that idealized version in your head, you are just setting yourself up for disappointment in some areas. Now, that's not to say that I think this game will be bad by any means, and so far, based on what we've seen and heard, it looks like it's going to be an amazing year of Call of Duty, a much bigger leap forward than we've seen in previous years. But at the same time, I do want to avoid falling into that trap of painting that idealized version in my mind, knowing full well that it's not realistic to expect all of the things that I want to see. So let's get into my first concern, and this is actually relating to one of the biggest pieces of news surrounding this game, and that is the confirmation of crossplay. Now, at first, crossplay seems like an excellent idea, especially between the consoles. This is something we've wanted for a very long time, or at least a good portion of the community. We have wanted to be able to play PlayStation versus Xbox and all that, but we don't know exactly how this is going to be done at this point, and they haven't gone into any detail regarding this. So the first thing right now that is popped up in the community, and a lot of people are stating this as fact when it is not yet, it is not confirmed, we don't know for sure yet. There is some skepticism about whether or not Xbox and PlayStation will be able to play in the same lobbies. This was due to some slightly unclear wording in the only official statement that we have regarding crossplay, where they essentially said it's going to be PC and console crossplay, rather than PC and consoles crossplay, but really it is vague language, it could go either way. And some people are speculating that that means that there will not be crossplay between Xbox and PS4, but we simply don't know at this point, and there hasn't been any official confirmation of this, regardless of what some people are saying online. I've had a lot of people commenting, saying that this is confirmed, 8 Thoughts confirmed it. He did not confirm anything. He is speculating. I do understand his skepticism in this area, and he could be right. But we don't know this at this point. It is not confirmed. And I feel his thumbnail and title for that were completely misleading because he's stating it as if it's a fact, at least within those areas, even though he didn't in the video. And I've seen a ton of his followers out there running with this as if it's fact. And as of right now, there is no official confirmation on this. Additionally, with crossplay, this brings up another big concern, and this is PC versus console, whether that be PC versus Xbox or PC versus PlayStation. This is concerning because PC inherently has several advantages over console. First up, the aiming input method. With a mouse and keyboard, you have a massive range of motion and way more control over your aim, whereas with a thumbstick, you get a very tiny range of motion and you can only use your thumb to aim. And therefore, when it comes to raw input of aiming, PC has the advantage, but aim assist can make up for that, at least to some extent. So depending on how strong the aim assist will be, this may not actually be a big issue for console players. However, there are other advantages that PC players have over console players that are often overlooked. The first one is frame rate potential. Consoles can only play up to 60 frames per second. That is the cap. You can't get any better than that. PC players have the ability to get much higher frame rates, which does actually make a difference in the game. In addition to that, at least traditionally with Call of Duty, PC has access to FOV sliders. They can increase their field of view so they can actually see more on their screen at any given time. And at least up until this point, we don't see that with console Call of Duty games. And as of now, there's no indication that that's going to be changing this year. Additionally, another concern with PC versus console is hackers and cheaters on PC. On this current generation of consoles at least, they are still secure. There are not hacks available. You can't have an aimbot on PS4 or Xbox One. On PC, on the other hand, it is possible to see this kind of stuff, and if we're playing in the same lobbies as PC players, we will now start to see aimbots. We will now start to see hackers. Now, I will say on the other side of this, according to a lot of PC players, the hacking and stuff is actually very rare. Like, you can go an entire year and only see a couple hackers. So I hope that's truly the case. But it is concerning coming from the console side of things because that's something that we've always really enjoyed as console players. We don't have to deal with aimbots and nonsense like that. The most we ever have to deal with would be like a modded controller that would give somebody a faster fire rate, for instance. So the idea of crossplay is very exciting, but implementation is going to be key. I hope they do this right. I hope they have a system in place where we don't actually play with PC players unless we join a friend on PC or actively opt into playing in PC lobbies. And I also hope we will be in fact seeing direct console crossplay, so Xbox versus PS4. But at this point, we don't have that information, and therefore I am a little bit concerned with how this is going to play out. This brings us to my next concern, and this has to do with the fact that they announced that there will be no traditional season pass and all maps will be free for everyone this year. They're not going to be separating the player base by having maps that you have to pay for. This is excellent news, but it also raises the question, will we be seeing the same level of post-launch support with maps? Normally, we would see 16 post-launch maps, although Black Ops 4 kind of screwed us over and cut that down to 12 post-launch maps. Are they going to cut that down even further this year since we're not directly buying post-launch content? That's definitely a concern that arises from that. And also, the statement that they're not going to have a traditional season pass, what exactly does that mean? I have a feeling that's going to mean there will be some other form of a season pass, like a weapons pass or something, an operator's pass. I don't really know. But I am hoping that whatever replaces that system doesn't become a pay-to-win type of a season pass, where you gain a significant gameplay advantage by paying for this pass, and people that don't get it will be disadvantaged in-game. On a similar note here, another one of my concerns, and this one is heavily based in how they've handled things in the past several years with Call of Duty, how will they be adding post-launch weapons into the game? As we all know, post-launch weapons, they have become a staple in Call of Duty. They will absolutely be coming at some point throughout the game's life cycle. And this can be done right. They have done it right in the past. I feel like CoD World War II and CoD Modern Warfare Remastered did an amazing job with handling post-launch content, where if you played the game a decent amount, you could save up armory credits or whatever they would call them in their respective game, and it was actually quite easy to get the post-launch guns without spending a penny. However, as a lot of you guys know, they've also handled things very poorly with many of the post-launch weapons. Like in Black Ops 3, for instance, you could only get them out of randomized supply drops, and therefore you could spend literally $1,000 and not get the gun that you want, which is absolutely insane. So for obvious reasons, I am concerned with how they're going to handle that post-launch content. Same thing goes for microtransactions in general. This is talking more about the cosmetic type of stuff. Is it going to be a fair system? Are there going to be great ways to directly unlock things like an armory credit system where you can save up and you can buy a lot of the really cool looking cosmetics that they add down the road? Or is there going to be a $28 melee weapon like we saw in Black Ops 4, which is absolutely insane? I understand the fact that these companies have to make money, and post-launch sales is a big part of their business model now, and I'm fine with them making money post-launch. I just want a system that is fair to the consumer. I'm even willing to spend money on a post-launch system as long as it's fair and it gives me value for my money. This brings us to my next concern that is based on previous years of Call of Duty, and this is, will we be getting a complete set of core features at launch? I'm talking about things like combat record and leaderboards. In recent years, we haven't really been seeing these elements added at launch. We see them added down the road or sometimes not at all. So it's definitely a concern of mine. I'm hoping this time around we will have that full set of features at launch. Something to add to that is also theater mode. Will we have theater mode in this game? There hasn't been any confirmation of that yet. The previous Infinity Ward game did not have theater mode, plus we have this massively overhauled engine. Will that be able to support theater mode? Will we be seeing that this year? We don't know at this point, and I'm a little concerned. If it's not there, it's not the end of the world for me, but it is a really big feature for us content creators that helps a ton, and I would love to see it return, and I hope it does. And finally, the last concern I have on my list here, it's something I actually talked about a little bit yesterday, and this is based completely on rumor at this point, so we don't know yet, but it is concerning to see this. There is a rumor going around that there will be no minimap in core game modes in multiplayer until you earn a UAV. I don't want to get too in-depth with my arguments for this, but I really do feel the minimap is a core element of Call of Duty. And removing the minimap, I feel, would be a very bad idea. I think it would completely eliminate a higher level skill set of seeing the big picture on the map. The minimap is our tool to see that big picture and start planning out what we're doing well in advance. If you take that away, It simplifies the game, it reduces the skill gap, and the game becomes more of a gunfight to gunfight style thing because you only know what's going on immediately around you, basically just what you can see and what you can hear. So I really do hope this rumor isn't true. It's definitely a big concern for me for multiplayer at this point. But again, that's something that is just a rumor, and therefore I hope this won't actually end up being a problem. But with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on everything that I've seen so far that is concerning me with this year's Call of Duty game. As you can see, as I went through that list, a lot of this is just waiting for confirmation. Like, we don't know yet, and it's a lot of that fear of the unknown that I'm worried about. So I'm sure as time goes on, as we approach launch, we will find out about most of this stuff, but always keep in mind there's stuff like microtransactions that they will very likely add after launch, or they will change how the system works after launch. So I will be remaining skeptical about that even post-launch. Of course, just a quick reminder though, I am still very excited for this game. Generally, my thoughts are very positive. I just wanted to share those concerns with you guys. And with that, I'd love to know in the comment section below, what are your current concerns based on what we've seen so far and based on the history of the Call of Duty franchise with this year's Call of Duty? Also, would you say that you're more on the excited side or more on the skeptical side this time around? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah.